Pathmonk is the intelligent tool for website lead generation. With increasing online competition, over 98% of website visitors don't convert. The ability to successfully show your value proposition and support visitors in their buying journey separates you from the competition online. Pathmonk qualifies and converts leads on your website by figuring out where they are in the buying journey and influencing them in key decision moments with relevant micro experiences like case studies, intro videos, and much more. Stay relevant to your visitors and increase conversions by 50%. Add Pathmonk to your website in seconds. Let the AI do all the work and get access to 50% more qualified leads while you keep doing marketing and sales as usual. Check us on pathmonk.com. Welcome to today's episode. Let's talk about today's guest. We have Bhanu from Recur Club. How you doing today, Bhanu?
Hi, Ernesto. Thank you for inviting me. I'm doing good.
It's great to have you. You have a lot of experience already. You being the growth consultant with them and other companies. Definitely great to have you on. But let's kick it off on Recur Club. So, in your own words, can you tell us a little bit more?
Yeah, absolutely. So thanks again, Ernesto, for having me over here. It's an honor. Recur Club, we are a fintech that basically helps early age tech companies get access to debt financing. That's what we do.
Oh, perfect. All right. And so that way our listeners can get a good understanding of your company. What key problems do you solve for clients?
Well, that's a good question that you asked me, right? So, well, the company was started about 2.5, 3 years ago, by two really smart guys, right? The biggest problem right now in the tech industry is that, especially in emerging economies, that a lot of these ideas, a lot of these companies do not get access to funding very easily. The only way for them is to either go through equity funding or go to venture debt. Both of which can be very predatory in nature. They are not the best, solutions for most companies, except for a few, maybe like the top 2% companies. We started out with one simple goal, which was to provide access to the remaining 98% of companies in a non-dilutive manner that was not predatory. And we've been very successful. There was clearly a market need that the founders tapped in quite early on. Over the last 2.5, 3 years, we've disbursed close to about $200-300 million in debt financing to these new age companies. And we are a leader in the Southeast Asian market as a trusted debt financing platform for these tech companies.
Oh, that's amazing to hear. So then, is there a segment vertical? Is there an ideal ICP that you guys like to go for?
Yeah, well, we are very, very specific, right? We observe that, a lot of new age companies, right? These tech companies that are very asset light in nature are unbankable for, these established institutions, the likes of Goldman and the JP Morgans and all. They do not like to touch these new age companies. So we work specifically with those asset-light new age companies that have been in operations for the last, let's say, 3, 4, 5 years, that are not that old, that are not that established, but are growing at a decent pace and have clearly found a product market fit. That is our.
That's great to hear. And so that way our listeners could get to guys know you. You guys could go to recurclub.com. What role does the website play then for your client acquisition?
Well, it's constantly evolving. When we started off, we all thought that for us it was going to be an outbound motion that will help us grow. That's what the original thinking was when we started off. But off late, what we're starting to see is, especially with our ICP, that is very active on the internet. Right, that is constantly looking for solutions like ours. Our website has, in fact, helped us, get a decent amount of traffic over the last few months, and not just that traffic, but we're also converting a decent amount of users from those visitors into end customers for us. So I think it's only evolving every single day. Right, the role that the website plays for us and how you position the website, everything that you write on the website, how are you tracking those visitors, how are you nurturing those visitors, it is something that we're learning, and we are seeing results. So the thought that B2B company does not need to have a good website or does not need to capture the website where the website visitors is a fallacy in our opinion, right? We started to observe that you have to lead a war on all fronts in B2B, whether it be outbound, whether it be inbound, and so on and so forth.
Definitely. And talking about inbound, outbound, what would you say is a top line acquisition channel for you guys there at Recur Club?
Honestly, it's for us, it is widely spread out, right? So we started off purely with outbound, right? And outbound still contributes quite a decent proportion to our revenues. Inbound has been taking off late, as I mentioned, right? So inbound is the second one. Then we have other channels like partnerships and so on and so forth, where we are getting decent lead flow from. So I would say that they would all be equally spread out. Some months, some channels do better as compared to others. But we are always hedging our bets and always focusing on all three channels at any given point in time.
Absolutely. All right. Awesome to hear that. Now, let's switch gears a little bit, Bhanu, and talk about you as the leader, you being the growth consultant there for Recur Club. What are some key tasks you focus on your day-to-day work?
Well, I mean, I'm somebody who gets bored very easily. And I should not be saying this because, of course, my bosses are going to be listening to this. But I do get bored very easily. So off late, I've been working on our channel, right? The partnership channel that we have been getting decent results from. Right. So my job over there is basically acquiring new partners, making sure they retain over a period of time, and sort of nurturing those partners so that we are able to generate enough lead flow. Before that, I was doing something. I was working on the inbound and pre-sale side of things, right? So supporting basically. Working on the website, making certain optimizations on the website, working on the content side of things, and also on the pre-sales, like I mentioned, right? The website visitors that we were getting, how do we convert them, and so on and so forth.
All right, awesome. Sounds like you have full plate on your hands, and you like to keep active, so that's awesome to hear.
Just changing roles, setting up. So I think where I have been successful has been, setting up the processes, taking the team from 0 to 1, setting up the right processes, building up the right team, the right motions, and then switching. I think that's what I do. That's what I do best.
All right, awesome, great to hear. Well, let's switch to our next section here, Bhanu, and it's a rapid fire question rounds. So you ready for them?
Yeah, sure.
Awesome, great. First off, Bhanu, what is the last book that you read?
Well, the last book that I read, I'm obsessed with Deng Xiaoping, the leader of modern China. So I have been reading a lot about him. That the last book that I read was about Deng Xiaoping's life.
Awesome, great read there for our listeners. Next, Bhanu, is what is one single thing that your company's focused on at the moment the most?
Well, every company focuses on that. That's growth for us. How do we optimize all the different channels out there and get the convert every single potential customer and increase our market share.
All right, awesome.
Growth over everything else.
Definitely, you being the growth consultant, definitely, right? So yeah,
that's the right place to be in at the company. I can say that.
All right. Now, if there would be no boundaries in technology, Bhanu, what would be that one thing that you want to have fixed for your role as a marketer today?
And honestly, not to pitch you guys, but our website does get decent traffic, right? How do we make sure that every single qualified buyer who comes on a website, it ends up getting converted, right? And I think technology, that's where we would need, and we would be willing to spend money as well on a technology that actually helps us track those users and convert them.
Definitely. All right. Awesome. Good. Great. Now, if there's one repetitive task that you could automate, what would that be?
Well, in B2B, I think, it's just like the motions of reaching out and following up with users. That's pretty much intelligent follow-ups. In B2B at least, yeah. That's what I would want to automate. I mean, there are a ton of tools that help you automate those follow-ups, but those are not intelligent. Those are all rule-based, right? And they're pretty dumb, for the lack of a better word. If we can contextualize and know when to follow up and not to follow up, and how often to follow up, I think that's what I would prefer to automate.
All right. Perfect. Awesome. And well, lastly, Bhanu, what is one piece of advice that you would give yourself if you were to restart your journey as a marketer today?
It's all about the customer, So what I've learned is that, especially, a lot of people, they come in with their own set of ideas and, their own experiences. But if you really want to be successful, just spend the first 2-3 months, if not more, understanding who the customer is, right? You should be able to speak their lingo. You should be able to know what their problems are. You should be able to know what do they look like, what do they do. So knowing your customer is the only thing that I would, if you are to become a successful marketer in any company, just do a very, very good job at knowing who your customer is. And I think everything else is secondary. You will find solutions for them. You will find ways to make it work. But if you don't know what the customer really wants, you will never, ever, ever be able to sell anything to them. No matter how good your tech stack is, no matter how good your team is, no matter how much funding you have. That's something I've learned the hard way, man.
But it sounds like you already have the right plans, and I totally agree with you, right? I mean, you can have the best thing ever, but if you don't know the customer, it's definitely not going to work. So some great advice there.
Yeah, especially in today's dynamic world, right? Things are changing way too quick. You might be great at SEO, but let's face it, SEO is dying. So how do you still reach out to the customer? And you're gonna have to find out what is the customer doing? Where do they usually go? What are the forums they usually go to? And so on and so forth. That's the only advice that I would give to anyone who's starting as a marketer.
Definitely, and some great advice. So thanks for that, Bhanu. Well, Bhanu, thanks a lot for being on the show with us today. I do want to give you the last word. If someone forgets everything about the interview today, what is that one thing they should remember about your company?
About my company, you were getting started in tech, you're a founder, and you want financing, reach out to my company. That's all I can say.
Definitely, you guys heard it. You can check them out at recurclub.com. Capital that grows with you. Bhanu, thank you so much for being on with us today. To our listeners, thank you so much for tuning in and looking forward to our next episode at Pathmonk Presents. Thanks a lot, Bhanu.
Thank you.